Welcome to our Dialogue Speakers series, where experts and prominent figures in the field of art, design, and architecture deep dive into various topics of interest. Our first speakers of the day are Paul Mui and Benny Lee, co-founders of Bread Studio, a design consultancy that specializes in parametric green design, a cutting-edge design methodology to integrate sustainability into building performance. They've designed projects from residential and commercial to landscape design, infrastructure, and urban planning. They will be sharing with us the design philosophy and inspiration behind a few of their public projects. Let us welcome Paul and Benny to the stage.
Hello. To be or not to be, Hong Kong is one of the places which some of the architects regarded as the most difficult place to build. Might be because of that, many buildings started to get with less and less characters. However, buildings, like humans, need to have characters, need to have stories to tell. So that's why we founded a group to especially challenge the topologies of the existing building in Hong Kong. Can the residential be something different? Can the public toilet be something different? Can the recycling station be something different? Very luckily, Benny and I have a chance to design a few of these public buildings in the past few years. Recycling station, crematorium, public toilet, village house. I hope the few projects we are going to show you now can get your agreement on how we are making a little changes of the character of Hong Kong public buildings. So, but only with a vision doesn't get us any job to realize our dream. So that's why in the past 10 years, we enter a lot of public competition. These competitions are anonymous competition, which means we are not disclose our names or experience. The jury panel only look at the design and to judge who is going to win. And some of these competitions are leading to real projects. Among the 100 competitions we enter, we won about 30 of them as an award. So the Green at Wan Chai is one of the examples. We won the first prize of the public competition, and it was led to a commission by the government. The Green at Wan Chai Community Center is here, next to the Wan Chai Green Sports Field and the Cross Harbour Tunnel, and next to the Yacht Club. It's a very prominent location in Hong Kong with the new promenade running through here, now it's completed, and with the Causeway Bay on the other side. With the opposite to SPCA, I'm sure a lot of people went to the SPCA have a chance to see this building. Like all the recycling station and public building in Hong Kong, they're grouped within what we call the GIC site, which means that there's a government building, the water department, and the drainage department, and the highway department, etc. So all these buildings are grouped together. These buildings are quite typical in my personal view. So we want to make something quite different to attract people from the Causeway Bay along here to the new promenade. This station is among the many stations the government has been building in the past 10 years to do the recycling. You may have seen some of these in the city. They are very successful. They provide a public space for organization to do charity project, workshop, etc. to promote the green initiative in Hong Kong. However, we want to make this even more special. So the first move we do is to open the building to the public. This is a competition panel in a competition stage we submitted. This is the completed image of the photo. So as you can see, the central part of this area is the most important part of the building. We do not want people to see this as a building. We want people to see this is a park. With this wide opening, the operator or the government, they cannot put a gate in front of this. So this public space become 24/7 hours to the public. If you walk past at night, you can always welcome to come in. And some people now walk past the site, told us that it doesn't look like a recycling station. This is one of our missions. We want to change the perception of the public to see what a recycling station could be. So some people see it like a resort, and some people thought it's a cafe, and some people thought it might be a gallery. So the site is very small. The site is only 30 meters by 30 meters, quite tiny. And in competition stage, our concept is to push all the usable space, including the workshop, the toilet, the changing room, the pump room, and the office, and the multi-purpose space at the back of the site, and creating this big garden towards the front. And because the accommodation behind has different requirement of the height, so the office have a lower headroom, and then the workshop, because it's a baling machine which is crush all the recycling material, so that has to be higher. So in order to give it a very consistent backdrop for the garden, we created this trellis. So from a low point to a high point to cover all the boxes behind. As you can see that the workshop are higher, the office are smaller, and then we cover them with this trellis, like this. And the trellis form a very good shading for the building. So we cut off the heat from the sun, so we reduce the energy consumption of the air conditioning. So that's the trellis, the skeleton above. And below it, you will see the office here. So when you come in the building, you are somehow in a semi-open space. So the outside and the semi-open and the indoor. So this is air conditioned. Could be air conditioned. And here, you don't look like you're already in the building. You look like you're somewhere in between. You're almost like a semi-covered garden. And something is also very challenging to build in Hong Kong is about the geometry. Because of the roof form is quite dynamic, right? And because of the government budget is quite tight on this building, so we did a lot of tricks to actually make sure all the members are strict. Okay? Some of you may know that a curved member will cost more to build, strict member might be more cost effective. So we did a great deal of computational study to make sure they are all strict and standardized. Here, as you can see, all the main members are strict. Okay? Although from the outside you see it's quite curvy, but actually all the members, if you look closely, they are strict. And also, to keep the cost down, because it's a public building, so we also use a modular, a standard. So this trellis is one type. So some of them are like this, some of them are like that. So we only manufacture one type when it rotates the degree, so that gives you a visibility of the inside. So from the inside, by turning this, some of the area with the window, you can look out. Some of the area without the window, we blank it off, right? Same for the vegetation on top, for trees on top. So it's very simple system, one type, and just do all the rhythm in here. And we also standardize, this might be too technical, but we also standardize the connection. Because this is multiple by like several thousand of this bracket. If we can standardize the bracket, we save a lot of money. Okay. So that's the mock-up of the trellis. You can see there's 90 degree, there's 0 degree, and all the standardized bracket. The bracket are very simple, just an angle. Anyone you can buy in the ironmongery shop in Hong Kong. Okay, about the trellis. The trellis look like timber if you have a chance to go to see. If even you touch, it look like a timber. But actually, it's plastic. It's plastic. The reason for that is because the fire regulation in Hong Kong doesn't allow that to be real timber, right? However, we want it to look like the real timber. So we invented a special mold to do this. So the mold, the formwork is actually from the real timber plank. So all the grain and stuff are real. But we pull in a liquid plastic, and when it casts, all these patterns are embedded into the plastic. And we have different types, and we have different color mixed into that. So it's a real plastic, but it looks like timber. Another good reason for that is because in hot weather in Hong Kong, the real timber will weather out. So like every 6 months or every year, you need to repaint and stuff like that. But because of this is a plastic, so it never worn out. Okay, it would look like this in the next 10 years. So it saves some of the maintenance costs for the government. Okay, and because this is a recycling station promoting green initiative, so anything of this tiny move would actually be part of the education to the public too. And we also did another upcycling exercise for that. So this is the Coloring Hill old government depot. So it was demolished by the time. Now it's rebuilding a new development in there. Before it demolished, we went there to pick treasures. So we picked some of these like 70 years old iron window, right, with this spring lock in here. Okay, we save them and we turn them into a I think is, I don't have the picture. Into a door, which I don't have the picture. Sorry. Okay, sorry, I missed that picture. But we turn the iron window into a door in here. Yeah. So if you go to the station, you can touch that 30 years old iron window, but that become a door. And at night, as I said, it's open to public with the light. Okay, and there should be a drinking fountain in here. So you know, if you happen to run along the promenade, you may even can get some drinking water from there. Okay, so oh, that's the window. That's the window in here. So it's 4 windows. It used to be horizontal in the old building. So because of the fire, waterproofing requirement, we cannot turn it into a window anymore because it will leak. So we turn it like vertically and become a door. And because this area, we have the canopy, so it's okay for the water, right? So that's quite good example to educate the the young kid that actually the old stuff you don't have to recycle. You don't have to recycle. You don't have to go to landfill. You can actually upcycle and become something still usable for the next 10 years. So that's our aim for that. We got some award for that, and we got some people come to see our building. And hopefully, if you have a chance to go to see in Wan Chai. So the Green at Wan Chai project we consider was quite successful in one way is that one is that we changed the perception of the public to recycling station. So when people go there, you don't smell like a recycling station. It doesn't look like a recycling station, right? So we apply this philosophy to other project we have is a public toilet in Hong Kong. So as you may know, public toilet in Hong Kong is quite stereotyped. So it's quite typical, right? You see, you smell, it's a public toilet nearby, right? So we want to change the public toilet into something like that. So we challenge all the parameters of public toilets. Why does it have to be a concrete box in there, right? Can it be different chambers and cover with a canopy and with a lot of trees in between? So when you wash your hand, right, you can wash your hand under the tree, but if you go to the toilet, you need privacy, you can go into this chamber, right? So we challenge all the perception of people think about how to use toilet. Of course, many people have different, opinion on that, like maintenance, but I think we can make it work, like the Green Wan Chai. So as you can see, some of these chambers are actually a female toilet, and the next one is the male toilet, and that's the washing basin in here, right? So you don't have to confine into a concrete box. And above the canopy, you have all the trees, and trees good for shading, cutting off heat, okay, and help the ventilation, etc. I'm sure the ventilation in this public toilet could be better than a normal concrete box public toilet. Right, so on the floor plan is like this. So female toilet, male toilet, disabled toilet, and washing basin, and all the pump room, etc. And covered by a big piece of roof, and with a lot of holes and trees going above. And that's what could be inside the chamber. So inside the chamber is quite conventional. You have your cubicle, you have your urinal, and you also have another set of washing basin in case you need it inside. But the main difference is that you're surrounded by vegetation, by flower, by trees, and above that you have the skylight and another layer of trees. So it's almost like if you want to answer the call of nature, what we say. So you are in the nature when you answer the call of the nature. Right, so Ben is going to introduce a few other projects. We apply the same philosophy. We turn the typical building into something not so typical.
Okay, thank you, Paul. So, when we were young, we have less preconception about what building type and what they should be looking like is in such a life. When we get older, we sort of get used to what buildings should look like. For example, when we walk out to the street, we see curtain walls, oh, that is an office. We look at one single story solid block with top hung window, okay, this is a public toilet. We see a transfer plate, we see transfer with a few towers going up, okay, this is a residential. So when we get older, we sort of lost the curiosity to discover what kind of building function is that form referring to. That is what we are trying to show in our work. That we want the public to be curious about objects and things in their life and what they see. For example, architecture. Architecture is inevitable. You cannot escape from it. Now we are speaking in an event. We are inside an architecture. When you go outside to the street, you're surrounded by it. So it's everywhere, and we want to make our the public's life a bit more colorful, and so that they can be curious about, okay, what is that building? I'm not so sure. Maybe I can walk closer and to discover what it is. Just now, Paul has shown two very successful examples. For example, the recycling center, and also the toilet. That doesn't look like a toilet or recycling center. Coming up, I'm going to show you a few smaller projects, which is also public building. For example, this one is a new crematorium in Hong Kong. I'm not supposed to disclose a lot of information about this project because by the end of the month, it would be officially announced by the government, which is a new crematorium of its kind. Until now, before now, it's a very sad story that babies under 24 weeks old, they are treated as clinical waste and they will be dumped in the landfill because they are not defined as life. It's a very sad story. Therefore, our XC Carrie Lam has made an initiative that we will be building a crematorium for babies under 24 weeks old. And the building I'm going to show you is the first of its kind in Hong Kong. This is a site. See that little kiosk? That little kiosk here? We have 4 computers inside. It is a digital kiosk for digital worshipping. This is an ash garden where people scatter their ash, right? So this is what we have now, quite primitive. And our goal is to make use of this vacant site here and to make a new crematorium. Hopefully, when I show you what the new design is, you will be shocked, and this doesn't look anything like a crematorium. So this is what we have. In fact, this building is quite curious. When we go to the site, we don't know what it is. So I have to go in there and look at what it actually is. It has a very old school water tower, and I look at the plans. It was supposed to be a dangerous goods store. But when I go in there, there is nothing. There are rubbish bins and other, other stuff. It's purely used for storage. So what we have, this is the kiosk that I just talked about. What our mission is to use the entire piece of land here to incorporate this digital kiosk for digital worshipping, and then demolish this building here and make it become a crematorium. Okay. In the design process, we are very conscious about the feelings of the families and the visitors, because we do not want anything at all from the context that make them sad, and to help them grieve. So in our process, we think death is nothing else but just coming home to the nature, even for the babies. Therefore, in our design, we try to make the building very earth tone, just like the earth, like the landscape next to it, and also make it look like a home, a little hut in the hillside. This kiosk here would replace the container box as the digital kiosk, and then the rest of the building is actually the crematorium and the ceremony room. First of all, let us look at the concept, the flow of the entire building. We have a Chinese saying, 不走回頭路. Therefore, when we go into the building, you can, if you are coming back to visit your ancestor, you go to the left, you see this is a kiosk room with 4 computers. You can look out to the garden here and look back into the garden inside. Or, if you come to have your ceremony, you turn right here to the purple, which is office. You register and take your bodies, go to the little space here as a ceremony, look out into it and close the garden, have a ceremony of cremating. This black bit here is the cremator room. It has 2 cremators inside for babies. And then afterwards, we go out to the exterior. There is a reflective pool here, and to the ash garden where you can scatter the ash or you can bring them home. So the entire circulation here is a circle, it's a cycle that doesn't go back to the same roots that we have. And this is the design, looking from up top. The only access of the site is from the ramp going up to the hill. We do not want the families to see anything that makes them sad. Therefore, this building form here, this curved roof, actually hides the chimney for the cremator. So you see no chimney. You go to the site, you see a house, you don't see the chimney. And the little opening here is the courtyard where the ceremony room is facing. We have also mimicked the curved roof here with a skylight on top, and the lights come from the sky to the space inside. This piece of the curved roof, we use DFMA, designed for assembly. So it's an on-site precast. Next to it is a precast yard. So we divided this curved roof into 8 different segments. And this roof has all the same radius, and then we have 8 pieces precasting next to it, while the site work's ongoing on site, and then we hang it piece by piece to the superstructure there. Therefore, time is saved during the project construction. And this is the entrance, and we have a portal tying the kiosk and the bigger crematorium here. Okay. The project is going to be completed by the end of this month, and we have just passed the FS inspection last week. Thank you for that. But I cannot show you too many of the pictures because I will leave it to the government to show you officially. But this is one of the pictures I can show you from the ramp outside. We walk up there. This is the piece of the curved roof and the cremator room. There's a track that we have done. As you can see on the plan, it is a very long building. But we do not want people to feel the massiveness of the building when they walk up to the ramp. Therefore, when you walk up there, you only see this bit. But it is only like half of the building. When you look at the far left, you will see there is the kiosk there. The reason why we don't see the building so long and so massive is because on the plan we have turned the building a little corner at the end, so that you will perceive the building as a very smaller object. Until you walk into the entrance, you will see the other side of it. In that case, the impact of the building and mass would be less to the visitor. This is the entrance. We think it is also a very Chinese tradition sort of architecture. When we walk into Seihabyun, like a courtyard, even though there is not a door, we always have a portal to make you feel that you are entering the building, the premises. So what we have here, we actually have a portal here. Even though when we walk in, there's a background of the ash garden, we have a Wanghuaishu here. The species of the tree that we pick also has to be very careful. This tree, Wanghuaishu, is evergreen, and it has flower season all over the year. So there is no season that the tree will look bare and without flowers. So that is, we have to care about these details as well. So we walk inside, you turn left to the kiosk, and when you turn right, you will discover the Ash Garden here, and then you will see the reflected pool and the ceremony room here. And then you walk along the corridor. This is the reception and the reflected pool. The reflected pool sort of calm yourself before you go to the ceremony room, because you might be very sad about what's going to happen. And on the right here is when you turn from the corridor into, this is the ceremony room. We have the skylight up there, and the light will shine into the space from the outside. Let the room full of light, and you will be cleansing yourself of the grief. And then this is a little altar for them to put the waters there, and then close the door, switch off the light, and then send it home. That's the space that we want to create. And inside the ceremony room, they are facing an internal column with a lot of bamboos there. When they turn back, okay, that was the corridor of the reception. When they turn back, there is a reflected pool with lotus here. At the end, that is the ash garden where you scatter the ash. And this project seems to be sitting in this context quite well, and it does not look like any typical crematorium in Hong Kong at all. And in this project, instead of celebrating design excellence or architecture manifesto, in fact, as a designer, we have to care about the user. We have to care about who is going to visit, and that is always in our heart in our projects. The next one is very interesting. Also, we want to create a village house that does not look like a village house. See, this is a thing, a village house in new churches. We have lots of them in new churches. But I always have the question, why does all these village houses look the same? I've always had this question. Even you were given a chance to build it yourself, for example, this guy here, the pink one next to us, our neighbor. Why do they look all the same? Why do you have the same size window in every room and on every side of your building? Why? And why does every story has the same number and size of openings? Why? We figure that if you pay enough and careful attention to a project, it will start to look unique by itself. You doesn't have to, try very hard. You just think, what does it really need? Well, in this project, this building, this thing house, we have the context is very different. Each of the people, each of the household, they have different needs. They have different contexts. So when we look at this piece of land here, on the left-hand side, you see a lot of green and open scene. On the right is right next to our neighborhood. So by definition, on both sides of the facade, it should not look the same at all. Therefore, this is the result of it. I know when we talk to users and people about unique architecture, they always have the hesitation. They were thinking, okay, this house looks different from the others. Okay, this looks definitely different from the pink one. And actually, this house is newly built, the grey one behind us. Why does it look the same as the other? I have no idea why. But perhaps they were not brave enough to be themselves or to be unique. Well, I always hear people ask, okay, this is definitely different from others. Am I going to sell it? Can I sell it? Would it be the same price, or would it be so unique that I cannot sell it out? Or would it be successful because it has not been done before? The answer as a designer to it is that we strive for excellence and success will come. We think about what a project really needs. We think about what this household really needs. This house is for a family with one daughter, husband and wife, 3 of them. After we define the brief and look at the context, we design this house. It's very unique. Now, the agents come to me and ask if we are selling this house. And the pricing of it, believe me, it is not the same scale as the one surrounding to you. It's because of the uniqueness. This is the only house that you are going to see in Hong Kong look like this. Okay. We don't have to follow anyone before you to be successful. You just have to be yourself. For example, we always ask questions to the details and the fundamentals. We always ask, okay, when we open a window, why does the glass has to open? You see this house, one of the design details that we have is that all the glass here is not openable. The reason why we did that is because when you have a window frame, and if you want the window to be openable, then the movable parts has to have another frame. Then the window, the clear glass starts to get smaller and smaller. And we do not want to be so inefficient. We want to be efficient so that when they look out of the glass, they are really seeing the view. Therefore, we confine all the openable parts at the solid panel. In that case, we will not feel the thickness of the frame. So that's what we did here, that's what we did here, and that's what we did here. Particularly in new territories, you know there is a lot of insects and mosquito. The owner has to put in the mosquito nets there. I always, when we go to those houses, we see a mosquito net in front of the glass. It's blocking the view. In this case, we can always install it here. It doesn't block your view, but it serves the function. It serves the purpose. And we will look at next door. We have same size window every floor, and everyone is looking the same. This one, we look at the functions. Do we really need the window? For example, here, do we really need the window? Here, do we really need the window? After we look at the plan, we look at the circulation, our opinion is that we don't need that. Then we enclose it. We don't just copy and paste in our software the windows and openings, right? But in fact, we think about it carefully. Like, okay, this guy, we have a window here because we look out with a very nice view. In the front here, we are looking at the grey building at the block behind us, right? We do not want to overlook them and looking at what they are doing every day. So therefore, we block this, and then we have a higher level window where we can see the sky unobstructed, and we will not see the neighbors naked next door. So the way we open the window would already make the building very unique here. Coming up, we have two other very small projects which I will flip through. This is a gateway to a Chinese New Year fair in Victoria Park that we have done back in 2009. This project came in from a competition. We won the first prize. We were thinking the entrance, the gateway to the Chinese New Year fair. We want to bless everyone coming in. Therefore, this is a Heyuan Xu. We make this gateway as if we throw the Heyuan Xu, the lights back onto the tree, and then we have this triangular architectural form of the Chinese architecture. However, we have challenges. We won the competition, but we only get 5 days on site to build this thing. And obviously, we cannot do anything we want because as a team, even the contractors and architects, we work as a team. Success is the only way out. There is, as my old boss was saying, I used to work with Norman Foster, and he was saying, there is no excuse for failure because when it failed, you will not be standing there to explain why you failed. It failed. Therefore, we have to make this work, and we have to compromise our design a little bit. And together with the contractor, we find out a way to do this building in 5 days on site. Okay, this is the outcome. We retained the design qualities that we want to have in this building. We have sort of translucent red and yellow light diffusion, and the gateway form is a triangular going into the fair. What we did is, you look at maybe this picture. Originally, we have a very tailor-made aluminium structure. If we have all the time in the world, we can do anything. And then we have the acrylic stick onto the facade system. Okay, this is way too advanced for 5 days work. What we did is we just use a scaffold system, the teak part. The metal scaffold that is very temporary, right? You see the metal scaffold structure you see in any construction in Hong Kong. We use this structure, and we have the mayip, the cuff. But we cuffed it in a triangular way to make our form. In that way, the contractor said, okay, I've been dealing with this structure forever. They know how to do it. And it becomes a much easier job for them to accomplish a 5 days site work. And within 5 days, we have erected this structure in Victoria Park. Okay, the next one is a very funny story. This is a lobby in Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Chemistry and physics department, they share a common lobby. They have not been friends for many years. The reason why is that they have a common lobby. They have been arguing, where do they cut this line? This belongs to physics, this belongs to chemistry. The dean has changed for like 6 or 7 years. These projects can still not move on because they cannot define the line. And then we come in, we tell them, okay, in science terms, we have a parallel universe. From one side, you look to the left, this is a lobby for physics. From the right side, you look to the right, it's entirely white and it writes chemistry. It's a lobby for chemistry. And in this parallel universe, in terms of design, we make a triangular wedge cladding, so that when you stand on the right, look left, you see physics, stand on the left, look right, you see chemistry. The professors are very happy, and they become friends again. So I think the power of design and power of architecture could actually bring us all together. Even the construction team, the contractors, the architects, and also the user, different stakeholders. I think the role of a designer somehow is to be collaborative and bring everybody back together and to enjoy what we have built all together. Okay, last project I'm going to show is a community project. It's a pavilion in Stanley. Okay, this is a charity project we did for Youth Arts Foundation, and it is to promote, not to pollute our ocean anymore. So we did a wave of waste. Okay. However, after we built this black curvy steel frame, we have spent all our budget, which is very, very small. Therefore, we asked all the primary school and secondary school students together to recycle cans for us. And then these are ring colors, and then we align them into a rainbow. So Coca-Cola here, grapefruit juice here, cream soda, and I believe the blue one is a beer can. Okay, so we want to make them be aware of, in this exercise, in the construction, we want to make them be aware of the ocean pollution and wash their recycled cans and bring it here. However, as I said, we already spent all our budget, right? How do we build it? No contractor is going to work for free. We invented one detail that any one of you can do. And we built the entire pavilion in 3 days with the help of everybody in the chemistry. Anyone who pass by, who is interested, they come, we'll teach them. And I will teach you now. In this black frame here, we put a mesh, a square mesh on top of this curvature. And then we would ask the collaborator, we drop the bins inside the can, and then we ask them to bring 2 rubber bands, tie diagonally the frame, slot the can inside with a tape it in. That's done. That's how each of the can is done. Okay. All right. So that's all the projects we want to show you today, and it's sort of the design process. Like many others, we are within the same constraint, but actually we are just trying to search for our own character. So our work is a process, sort of, as a lifetime's work. We are searching for ourselves, who we are, and who we want to be, or not to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, William. We'll now open the floor to questions. If anyone has a question, feel free to raise your hand, and I'll come over with a mic. Yes, people don't have any questions for you guys, since it was such a great presentation. We now have a little token of appreciation. Oh, sorry.
Just a small question. For your village house, I saw a CLP electric station, something like that, at the corner of the house. And then in whatever photos that you take the house, that thing is sticking in. So have you tried any way to camouflage it, or you're not allowed to do anything?
We're not allowed to. Well, unfortunately, these kind of neutrality house, they have a very stringent requirement in terms of how tall you build, how big you build, and they would even define where the balcony has to be. So our job is to, under these very stringent constraints, to build an exceptional house for the household. And we are not allowed to move our neighbors, and we are not allowed to move the box here. However, in our design, I'm sure Paul would tell us more about is how to effectively avoid the inside looking towards outside. We will be avoiding these two features.
Yeah, thank you. That was a very good question indeed. There are certain elements in Hong Kong not belonging to the private land we cannot move. For example, the CLP station here, you're not even allowed to paint, right? Even some people put some sticker here, they're illegal, right? So we try, I don't know, maybe later on we'll stick some sticker here, pink. But there are also elements, like for example, these lamp posts here, these light posts. You're not allowed to change the lamp post and all the other good stuff, the curb, etc. So for the lamp post, because it's so close to the bedroom here, so we actually did a lot of tests. So if you look inside, you see the view is looking at here, and the other window is looking up there. So from inside, you would never see these light posts. Yeah, so that's the best we can do within that constraint of the surrounding. Yeah, but these things are, I don't know.
Thank you for your question. We now have a souvenir for you. Can you please step to the middle of the stage, please?